Would you like to learn how to make this delicious, spicy butter chicken with creamy sauce, along with the homemade naan bread? Just stay tuned for our next 2 episodes of Hilltop Stovetop. Hello and welcome back to Hilltop Stovetop, the show where we're teaching you how to make great meals in an ordinary kitchen. Today we're making a favorite of my great nephew Lyall's, and today it is butter chicken. And we're not just going to open up a jar, we're going to make this from scratch. And this is using his favorite recipe. So Lyall is 12 and he sent me in this recipe for easy Indian butter chicken. So we've got a whole lot of pots going here, but it's going to be awesome in the end. We're starting off, I've got about 1.5 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast that I've cut into bite-sized pieces. And I'm going to take a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil. 1, 2, just like a bartender. And we're going to take 2 tablespoons of Tandori Masala. Now this is a spice blend, and I'll put a little description down below of all the spices that are in this. And there's 2 kinds of spices, or several kinds we're doing today. Tandori Masala is normally used as a marinade for uncooked meat. And we're also going to be using Garam Masala, which is what's normally used once everything has been cooked. So we're mixing that all together, and we've got 1 big frying pan here that we're going to put this on, the chicken on to cook separately. And then we'll get started on the sauce itself. So now I've got a little bit of oil in it. This is actually ghee or ghee, I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it, which is basically butter, but it's had the milk solids removed. It might be known as clarified butter if you were doing some fancy cooking as well. So I'm going to get that sizzling away. Then in the next pan, we've got 1 onion, all minced up. And we've got about 1 tablespoon or so of garlic. And we're going to mince those until the onion is translucent. And then in the saucepan, we're going to put another couple of tablespoons of you could use regular butter or this ghee, which has a higher melting point. So that's one thing that makes it really good without adding any extra flavor to it. And to that, we melted that. Now we've got 2 cups. The recipe calls for tomato sauce. Now what I'm using here is actually crushed tomatoes. So I asked my niece what kind of sauce she would normally use. She says normally just whatever you would put on spaghetti. But I thought I don't want to be incorporating any Mediterranean spices into all of this stuff with the Garam Masala and the Tandori Masala and all of that sort of stuff. So I just went with plain tomatoes. Now when you get canned tomatoes, there's basically 3 kinds you can do that are unflavored. First off is buying whole tomatoes, which has got the juice and the seeds and everything. All they've done is taken the skin off of the tomatoes. Second thing is diced tomatoes, which is the tomatoes without the seeds, but it's still got all of the juice, and it also, and they're just cut into about 1/4 inch cubes. And the third thing is the crushed tomatoes, and crushed tomatoes have no skin, no seeds, and they've taken the excess juice out and just crushed it, quite literally. So that's where you end up with this stuff that looks a lot like whatever tomato sauce you might have, but it has no extra spices in it. if they'd taken the same thing and simmered it down a little further, then it would become tomato paste, which has a very concentrated flavor, and we don't have that. Now, next thing we're adding is, I'll just make sure I've got all these in the right thing, a heavy cream. So this is whipping cream, so 3 cups of whipping cream. And remember, if you take whipping cream and just keep whipping it, you end up with butter. So that's how you're going to end up with that buttery flavor in this sauce. And we're going to mix all of that together. And then we've got some salt, which I didn't measure out, so we want a teaspoon of salt into this. And we want 2 teaspoons of, one teaspoon of Garam Masala, which is another spice blend, and a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So that's what's going to give the heat to this. We're going to bring this up to a nice little simmer, and we're going to simmer that for about half an hour. Get all those flavors all nicely blended together. And we're going to check on the chicken here. And it smells good already. Just turn the heat up on that scooch. And I have enough spatulas here. And our onions are almost ready here. You don't want them overcooked or burnt. Oh. Turn that off. I'm just going to watch my timing here. Okay, so after this is simmered for about half an hour, then I'm going to add in those caramelized onions and garlic, but I'm not going to do it before. And by the time we're done that, then this chicken should be cooked through. You'll want to, it's hard to tell with this nice bright red color to it, but you want that to be cooked all the way through. So I'm going to leave you now, and we'll come back in about half an hour. Okay, so our half hour is up. This sauce has been simmering for a while, and it has reduced in volume a little bit. So we're going to take the onions and garlic and add that in now. And then the last thing that we're going to do is the chicken. And one thing that we want to do is, this only took about 10 or 12 minutes to cook, but we do want to cut into a piece and make sure that it is cooked all the way through. So it's got that nice pink on the outside, but the interior is cooked, because by the time it gets into this sauce, then it'll be too late to do that. So we're just going to turn this down. Everything else is turned off, and then I'm just going to add the chicken into the sauce. And then you let that simmer for about another 5 minutes. Got an awful lot of sauce for the amount of chicken that I put in, but I think we can probably set aside some of this sauce for later. And then while that is just doing its final simmer, that will give us a chance to put the naan bread on to cook, and we will see you when it's all come together. All right, so now that our chicken has simmered well, our naan bread is cooked. So we're just going to scoop out a little bit. We'll want enough sauce with this to be able to dab at it with the naan bread. And then we'll take our naan bread and add it to the side. And there we have it. Homemade butter chicken right from scratch, along with naan bread. So the naan bread will be in our next video. This was our butter chicken. So hope you enjoyed today's video of Hilltop Stovetop. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit that notification button too so you don't miss any future episodes. And we will see you again soon. Bye-bye for now.